My name is Adekunle Ayodele. As a means of introduction, I'm a data analyst at Food Data Nigeria and at Alltech here in the UK. And I'm going to tell you a very brief story of how I got into data analysis. In 2018, during an event in Lautech, FarmHack, being part of the organizer, I also took interest in participating, and we came about with the idea of using data to solve agricultural problem. This time around, I have no idea what data itself means. Like, I do not have deep insight. I do not even know how to use Excel very well, but I was trying to venture into using data as a means of solving problems. 2018, fast forward to 2023, I think I've now learned a whole lot of things about data, its impact in making decisions, and I'm not surprised as to why organizations can really not do without data. Nobody, no country, no establishment, no business can succeed without data. Nigeria is an exception, and I don't think we are succeeding, obviously. Just like the INEC, the National Population Census they are about to do, if it is rightly done, that is the extent to which data can help. It's all about a data exercise. Whatever they want to do is data exercise. And lot of potentials being a data analyst. Like I said earlier on, almost every organization, institution, industry always need a data analyst. And whether you are in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, it is a very relevant skill that you should pay attention to. So this is what we'll be running through. Introduction to Power BI, how you can import data into Power BI, understanding what KPI mean, key performance index or performing index, and working with data set. And we have about 10 minutes for the question and answer session. So Power BI is an essential part of Microsoft 365 Office tools. And it is used basically for data analysis and for data visualization. We all must be aware of Microsoft 365 now have a lot of tools, Excel, PowerPoint, which I'm currently using to deliver this presentation. Power BI, now Power Apps, Power Automate. Microsoft 365 have a lot of features that are used by organizations at different levels. Teams, for emailing, for meetings, a whole lot of them. So Power BI is one of those packages for Microsoft 365. It has the ability, or the users have the ability to create measures which reduce capacities that additional column will have used. We explain what a measure means, and you see how it works when we get there. It can also be used to query data to meet users' specific needs. I already explained that. It also has a very ease of use method. You simply drag and drop. Drag and drop, and the feature, or the visual or chart or whatever is ready. Your report happen in a very short minute, depending on what report you are building, but then it is easy to use. Importing data into Power BI. So now I will open my Power BI. So I am not just delivering a lecture. We have to get practical with it. I hope you all have your Power BI on your system already. So if you open your Power BI, this is what you will be seeing. If you have Power BI installed on your system already and launched, this is what you should be seeing. If your system is showing something like this on launching your Power BI, please raise your hand. There is a feature to raise hand somewhere there. I'm right. Yeah, I see 2 participants raise hand. So like I said, this is going to be practical oriented. It's not going to be usual lecture delivering session. So I want us to really get practical with it, so you understand the concept. 4 hands just raised, 4 hands. So out of 13 people or 12 people, we have only 4 people raising their hands to say they have their, okay, 5. So I want everybody to launch their Power BI. I want to be saying this. You should be seeing this very future page. Something like this should. Oh, 6. Okay, 6 good to go. So importing data into Power BI is the first and the most important step if you want to analyze or visualize any data set. And you can see the most popular means of importing data into Power BI, which is already displayed as shortcuts here. However, there are a lot of ways to import data into Power BI. You can import via Excel, via SQL Server. You can import via by copying and pasting the data into a blank table. Let me show you others. So if you want to import data into Power BI, this is where you go to get data. And let me mention again, as I indicated in the message that was sent across for invite, Excel is about the most important and the most powerful tool any data analyst must get familiar with. It is the foundation of every data analysis learning. So if you get very good with Excel, working on other data analyst tool will be quite easy for you, be it SQL, Tableau. Excel is really very important. So just taking a moment to say you should please try to master your Excel very well. It's really very important. It makes life quite easy for you navigating data analysis. So let me go back to my slide. So Microsoft Excel, SQL Server, web, text, CSV, etc. Those are the different methods. Now, understanding KPI. I'm still going back to importing data into Power BI. Okay, so this is the first stage. There is, I hope you can all see this get data. So we have get data, and you can see from Excel, from Power BI, that data set itself, from data flow, from web, blank query. There is more. Just click on more. You see the list of everything that is possible. Yeah. So you see, you can also make a search, import from file, from database, from Power Platform, from Azure, from online services, from others. You see, lots and lots of channels, Salesforce. There are, in fact, from LinkedIn. This is even an improvement. I didn't know there is that opportunity to import from LinkedIn, Google Analytics. I mean, endless possibilities for you to import data from Bloomberg Data Analytics, lot of them. So any of this that you have your data sets to import, you just click on it and click connect, and there you go. So I think it's somewhere in the, yeah, so I put it a step-by-step guide here. So you go to get data, and it leads you to this next stage, and this next stage, and this and this. So let me go back. So I'm just going to explain this briefly so that we go back to the practical thing, and you will follow the steps. You try it and you tell me if it worked for you and if anything is wrong. So having discussed several platforms or ways to import data into Power BI, I'm just going to explain key performance index in brief. KPI are important metrics your employer want to see or that they give you to visualize for them. If you work, for example, in Jumia, they as a data analyst, they might say, okay, we want to see growth in monthly sales. So you have to, so that growth in monthly sales is the KPI they want to see. Growth in sales is a key performance index. As an organization, you want to know if you are doing well. Jumia, as an organization, to know if they are doing well, they look at their growth. They look at their customer base. Are they expanding? Maybe they launch in Ibadan. Now, after 6 months, they are in Lagos, they are in Abuja. So those are performance index. Growth in terms of customer acquisition, in terms of order, the sales they make. For example, maybe in January, March, between January and March, or January and April, which is the first quarter of the year, they make 35 million naira. And then between April to August, they made 10 million naira. You know, that's like about 25 million naira reduction in sales. If this data do not exist, or if they do not analyze this data, they won't understand how they are performing. They won't be able to measure themselves. But with this data and ability to analyze it and visualize it for them to see this is how you are performing, then business leaders, managers, top executives will sit down, look at this chart and say, no, we did very well in the first quarter of the year, but look at the second quarter of the year, we are doing really badly. What do we need to do? They can also go back to their database to see what went wrong. For example, did they lose customers? Are there customers that came back to buy? Are some orders being returned? Is it because delivery was not well done in the first quarter? That's why people choose to use other company or buy from other warehouses. You know, these are the things that data do for you as an organization or as a company. KPI also show trends that is worth storytelling. I'm sure with in the last 2 minutes I've almost told a story. Like Jumia, in the first quarter, sales was good. In the second quarter, sales went bad. They went to check what happened to sales. They realized that the delivery people were not efficient. People did not get their delivery. You know, it's like telling the stories with numbers. They should, KPI should also be able to influence decision. I've talked about that. The decision maker now say, okay, we have to improve the efficiency of our delivery. That's where the problem is coming from. So a problem gets solved by simply looking at data, and they should show result of certain inputs. So maybe after improving the efficiency of delivery, maybe they injected like say 20 million naira to improve their logistics, hire driver, buy more trucks, and then between September and December, boom, the sales went to 50 million naira. So they can say, well, this decision to invest in this thing is actually worth it, you know. So in a nutshell, in the first quarter, they sold well. Second quarter, sales dropped because the delivery or logistic was not doing well. Third quarter, from that realization, they injected funds to improve the efficiency of delivery, and in the third quarter, sales went skyrocketing to 50 million. That's how data work. These are key performance index that help you to understand what your employer are looking for, or sometimes the employer tell you this is what we need you to show us. So yeah, example of KPI: sales growth, price trends, budget performance, new customers gained, profits made, losses made, etc. So working with data sets, where the real work is, you import data. I already mentioned that. You check the query of the data. You check relationship or model. You understand unique identifiers. You understand facts and dimension table, and you go back to visualization pane, play around it. So now get to your Power BI again. This is where the work is. Before we get to the practical aspect, if you have any question, let me know, or let me know if your Power BI is not working well, or you are not seeing this very page that I am. You can indicate. Probably somebody can side chat you and help. If not, we dive straight into this. It's going to be an hour. I won't pour too much. Being the first session, we are just simply going to import data today. Probably import data and do some pie chart or bar chart or whatever chart. So no questions on explanation of KPIs and the other I've talked about. So if there's no question, just now open your Power BI. So like I said, the first stage is importing your data, and I'm going to do just that now. So sorry I didn't do this earlier. Let me share a data set with you all. Having the data, you can either use import data from Excel, just use this shortcut, or go to get data, which I will encourage you to do. Use get data. From the get data, you see Excel workbook, which is the one you want to use now. For those that have knowledge of SQL, there is TSQL that I think we can use SQL Server or whatever, but now we want to use Excel. Click on Excel, and then it takes you to the location, and from Excel you pick a sample. So it's not going to be like this on your system. Just go to where it has your own downloads. Just go to your downloads. You will see this sample food says. You click on it. You see that when you click on it, there is blue highlight, and then you click on open. So I will wait for 2 minutes to have you do that and tell me if it works. If it works, just raise your hands. If it works for you, raise your hands. If you have problem with it, let me know. So if you look at this navigator that this thing brought here, I'll open the Excel. So this is the Excel sheet that I just imported. I have 3 pages open here, my links, food sales, and instructions, and it itemized it exactly on Power BI for me. So this is not what I want. This is what I want to work with. I don't want this as well. Take note that you can also import data from web. For example, okay, when I'm done with this, I'll show you. So if somebody wants to download data from maybe US COVID data, Department of Health, Center for Disease, blah, 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 blah. I don't think I can get from Worldometer, but I can get from the Department of Health, United States of America. there's a particular US website that you can get data from. You just copy link and paste the link. So when you see from web, it's easy for you to import data from web. You just copy the link and you're good. So nobody has been able to achieve this. Has anybody been able to import the data? Hello?
I'm sorry, who is CIE? The person is raising, I don't know if it's he or it's she. Is it a question or
question, please?
Okay, go ahead.
Please, can you come again? You are a bit fast.
Come again. Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay,
but where
this is the
exactly?
point. I got to the point where I can import, but then I didn't see the parts. Which of the display options like use here?
You got to
I
the
missed
point.
that part.
You got to the point where you can import the data.
Yes, but then I have display options where you are right now, but then I don't know what to click on.
Okay, so I'll go back. Get data. So let me use this.
I'm sorry, is it possible for you to share your screen, CIE?
No. I'm
Okay.
using Zoom on my phone. So I
Okay,
can't
so
do that.
can you see this on your computer, on your Power BI desktop? Can you see this? Get data. So I'll go back. So let me cancel this. So this is the page you are, right?
Yes.
So you go to get data. Can you see my cursor? Can you see this?
Yes.
So click on get data. And the first item is Excel workbook, right?
Okay.
Click on the Excel workbook. The data I shared in the group will be in your own downloads.
I opened it already.
You said what?
I opened it already.
So
I opened.
Download that data.
Okay.
And find a way to send it to your computer.
Done.
Yeah. So if that data is in your computer, it will be. Take note of the location the data is lying in your computer. Maybe in your downloads or wherever it is. Just go ahead and select. So I've got sample food data. This is the data I asked you to download. Click on it, and then you go to open.
Okay.
On open, the data is loaded onto Power BI. Any other person having this issue? Okay, so if we are all fine, this is how the data will open. This is how what you imported will open. And like I try to show, we only need this food sales. You can view it before you select. So you see the order date, the region, the city, the category, the products, quantity, price, etc. So, and sales data. So you click, you make sure that it is ticked. Any of the data you are importing, make sure they are ticked, right? It has to be ticked like this. If it is not ticked, these buttons won't change. So the best practices is that when you tick the data, it shows the data preview here, the best practice is you transform first. In case there are missing data, there are errors, etc., etc., you click on the transform, which lead you to the query. And here you can vet everything to be sure that all your data are intact. So check the order date, no empty row, or all the rows are intact. You also check to see that there are no empty column, no empty column, no empty row. And I would like you to read up on something called data type. We have quite a number of data types. We have numeric, alphabet, etc. A lot of them. For example, when you see 3387, these are numeric. And if you look at this, you see 1, 2, 3. If you happen to see ABC here, ensure you change it to fixed, either decimal number or whole numbers. This is what I'm talking about. This is text. I just change it to text. And it's going to say the selected column has an existing type conversion, blah, 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 blah. Replace current. If I click replace current, it will change to text. But it will impact my work because I'm representing a numeric value with text value. It doesn't work. So make sure that everything is intact where you have, you see, all these are text, so you have your ABC. All these are text, you have your ABC. Date is also a type of data value. So you see, order date, and you see what you've got there is, it has to be date. So if you put decimal number or text or true or false or binary, it won't work. It will mess up the date for you. But it has to remain in date. You can put it in date and time. This will bring time alongside it. Well, it's not necessary, so just leave it in date. This is what we have there currently. So after vetting all of this, you can now decide to either go here. Can you see where my cursor is? So you go to close and apply. If you go to close and apply, you click close and apply, and the data gets loaded automatically. So you see the loading process. It's not that difficult. For example, if I had to skip the transform, but best practices is that you don't skip the transform. Go and check the data you want to import. Make sure all the columns are correct, all the rows are correct, the data types are correct. So you see, this is the table I imported from the old data. You know, there are 3 different tables there, but I imported just this. So, okay, Boye, raised hand. You have a question? Shoot.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for your time. I just want to ask something. You said something about you should check if you have a missing data somewhere. So I want to ask, if you have like 1 million data, how would you check for that missing space? Because, you know, the kind of example we are doing here, it's something you can see easily. But when you have a data that you have to scroll through millions of data, is there a way or a query that you can use to get if a data is missing or is not well arranged? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question. Most of the time, if the data set are quite much, you can just import anyway, and you have the opportunity of querying here. So this is the data view. You will be able to view everything here and do extensive scrolling, or just look at this. This is easier. If you have an idea, for example, how many rows you are expecting to have there, you can do individual column data view. And Power BI will always tell you, look at the left bottom here. It will tell you the number of rows, 244 rows, and on the column that you are checking. So for each column, it will tell you the number of rows. And usually, according to your question, if you have 1 million data, even if it is 2 million data, you are likely to receive the specificity that the data is 2 million. So you just use that to fact check immediately if you have that number of rows and that number of columns, usually. So there are places to check for rows and columns and all. But for the sake of this example, yeah, that's the short answer I can give. I don't know if that is satisfactory enough. So the essence of transforming the data or checking, first of all, is just to ensure that you do not have to come back after you already started working, and that is when you will start to edit your or to check your data if anyone is correct. The first thing to do is to check if the data is intact, because when you work with a faulty data, you will be delivering a faulty report, and the business owner or the executives or your employer will be making wrong decisions because you have analyzed a wrong data and gotten a wrong decision, I mean, a wrong conclusion for them. So it is very, very important that you make sure that the data is very, very valid and actually correct. Any other question? That was a very good question, by the way. Any other question? Okay. So if there is no further question, I will go ahead. But do we all get the data import, or you want me to go over it again? Please unmute your mic and talk. I don't want it to be a boring class. This is something practical.
Let's go over it again. Well, I was able to import, and I don't know if you are going to import all the data, or we are just going to select the first one, the only one. Let me see.
Okay, good. Anybody want us to go over it again?
So there's pending.
Are you all getting it? I mean, the data's import and all that, everything working properly? You can unmute yourself and just say yes. I want to be sure that
some people would like that you go over it again.
I am presently on the page that you are, sir.
Okay. Adelami. You raised your hand. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was actually trying to pick up a call. That's why I couldn't quickly talk. Regarding the querying, after loading the data and after picking the let me see the one I picked. I think the sales. So I'm finding it difficult to see the column heading from the query editor. I'm finding it difficult to see the query heading, I mean the data heading, so that I can know which one is which as it loads from the data set.
That's strange, but let me go over it again.
Okay.
So you go to get data, click on it, Excel workbook. I already sent this data to the group. Click on it, open. So the one I import the other time is food sales. So let me import another sales/data. So I said it is best practice that you click on transform first. I hope I'm not too fast. So here you can see the table heading, or the table heading here. It's almost the same thing with the other one. So you can see all the table headings, right? So transform load. Check if everything is intact. region, city, category, product, quantity, unit price, total price. It's the same thing as the other table. So I just pick it again, just for you to know that you can import as many as possible table, hundreds of tables, as many as possible table into Power BI. So once this is done, you go to close and apply. However, I can close it without applying it. So it is not there. I've not imported the table because I close it without applying it, right? Discuss changes. Discard. So I'm going over it the third time. Get data, Excel workbook, and then full sales data, open. So what I will do this time around is just to load it without transforming it so that you see that works too. Let's what's here. Instructions, my links are not necessary. So I will import this. So instead of transform data, I will just load straight up. So don't worry, I will share the PDF where you can have a step-by-step guide. So now we have 2 tables here. Like I said, you can have as many as possible tables. Now, I want you to pay some rapt attention. I'm going to explain how these 3 features works. We call this the report view or the visualization page or pane, P-E-N-E. We call this the data view or the query view. And we call this the model view. Model is the same thing as relationship view. So the essence of having model view, or let me click it, as you can see, we now have the 2 tables we imported are here. So we have the 2 of them here. If we want to build a relationship or build a dashboard or a visual between these 2 tables, we will not be able to work with these 2 tables except we build a relationship with them. You see, they are isolated. So if you want to be able to do anything with the 2 tables, you must bring them together with something we call unique ID. So please write it down and read about unique identifier. Unique identifier is a particular item on the list that will allow you to be able to join the 2 tables together. You see here we have category, city, other date. Now, this is because we have the same table. I imported almost the same table. In some instances, they might not be the same table, but in that instance, they must have at least one similar element or item. For example, city. So if they have one similar item, then you will be able to work on the 2 tables. So you just drag one city on top of another city, and it comes with make this relationship active, this relationship blah 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 blah. Okay. So that way you have created a relationship between the 2 tables. So you see, when I put my cursor there, you can see both showing city. So that means that is the unique ID that we used for this. And without having a unique item or product or data set, you will not be able to create a relationship. So this is always very good. For example, when you have sales data differently, and you have order data differently, and you have maybe market customers data differently, there must be one thing that will bring all of this together, and that must be probably sales ID or order ID or customer ID. One thing must bring them together. In most occasions, when you have sales, order, and customer, what bring order and customer together is sales. So you find a unique ID between all of these 3 tables, but here we have 2 tables. Babatunde, you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, please go ahead.
All right. I just want to ask, in the event of when they don't have a unique column, and there is need for a merger.
Yeah.
So is there a way of creating a new column?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Because
Yeah.
I know in R there's a way we create a new column if they are not in case of any merger.
Absolutely. There are ways of creating a new column. Power BI have look at this. This is new column. So you can copy one of the column that exists in one of the table and just paste it in the other table. That way, you have something to tie them together. So this is what they call data modeling. You must have been hearing data modeling. So data modeling is about creating relationship between different set of table, especially sales and dynamics table. I mean, what do you call it? Dynamic table and the main table. So we have
2 people have their hands raised.
Okay. Is it on this relationship or data modeling? If it is not, I will want you to make it a later question. If it is, go ahead.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. My own question is, for example, in a case whereby we have the city column is in the food data, and the other one is the city as well, the city column is also in the sales data. What if in a case whereby we have duplicate values? For example, let's say for example, in Nigeria, as a point of as context, let's say Oyo State in the food data, and also in the sales data, we have an Oyo State, and they all have different values. How would that appear? Will it match? Will it appear on a single table individually, or because I believe they have the same ID name, which, so I don't know how that will work. That's my question.
Well, data duplication is well handled in Power BI, especially with filtering. So most of the time, you can have a table with a lot of numeric values, and maybe the second table will just contain 3 values, maybe sales, customer, or it's just going to be simply 3 values. That way, you just need something that is related, that is similar in both tables. I'll give you an example. If you have this table, for example, and the other table contains data that are not the same thing as you have in this table. Like I said, you just need, sometimes the names are not even the same. So this might be city data, and this might be just city. The fact that the data that they both contain is the same is all you need. So it doesn't matter what the headline or the naming of the columns look like in the table. As long as Power BI is able to find out that both columns have the same data, in this case, if there is duplication, it will simply go with one of them. So it's not going to say because there are duplicated table, I'm not going to take it. And that is why I said earlier on, the first thing you do is transform your data. So while loading the data, don't load straight up. First of all, transform. So I started my explanation from data model because I'm doing a kind of bottom-top approach explanation. Ordinarily, when you import your data, after importing your data, if you do not transform the data before finally importing it, the first thing you do when you import the data is to go and transform the data, clean it up, check for duplications, remove inconsistencies, remove wrong values, check your data types, make sure text values are given text assigned to text, make sure numeric value are assigned to decimal number or whole number, date in dates. So when you do that, you will not have the issue of duplication. Next question. Oh, is that answered? I thought two people raised their hand, Pope.
I think you've answered both.
Okay.
You've answered the two questions.
Well, I just want to ask. I think I missed just the time you were trying to link the products together. I don't know what you did to link them.
Okay, please pay attention. You can delete a relationship by right-clicking. You see, right-click in this and then delete. So, and if you want to build that relationship again, it's simple. Simply drag and drop, but make sure they have unique values. That's why we call it unique identifier. So it will tell you sales data table and food sales table. So it's telling you that you are linking this table with this table, and it's many-to-many relationships. So we have different type of cardinality. I will encourage that you read up on this. We have many-to-one relationship, one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. So this pass easily as many-to-many because the data sets here are the same. Just the same table. Apologies for that. By the next class, I will bring in two different tables where we will see how it works really. But this is the first class, is really not necessary. So it's just to show you how Power BI works, how to import data, and how to build your first visual. So just simply drag one on top of the other. Especially, it is a must. There must be unique IDs having the same data in the column. So the relationship is built. You have designed the model. Then this is called data view or query pane. Here you can see all the data. If you want to adjust anything, you see the order date. If you click it, you see the data type here. You can change the data type here, but it's perfect. It is date, so it's in date already. Look at this. It is in text, so the data type is showing text, and it's also showing don't summarize because of course it's not numeric. City text, quantity, whole number. So you can check all of these to be sure that everything is fine. And if everything is fine, if you want to edit, somebody asks if new column can be added. The answer is yes. This is how to add a new column. Just click on new column, and boom, you have one. And then it asks you for the formula. Which formula you want to, what do you want to see in the new column? So I want to say maybe some for the new column, some food sales total price, unit price plus clinical income. So plus sum of food sales unit price. It can be anything. Sorry, it can be anything. So you see that it has done the addition of this and this and created the new column for you with the calculation perfectly done. So, but we don't need that. Delete. And you can also, so this is the query page where you edit and do whatever you want to do. There is also a master query page, which I will show you later. I use that more. And this is what is called the report view. All those editing, manipulating, validation we are trying to do with the data, this is where we show everything. Now, let's have a look at this data again. It is data that look at sales in different city in the US, state maybe, and it look at the category of food, bars, snacks, cookies, etc., etc., and then different product, quantity sold, unit price of each quantity, and the total price. Now, as a data analyst, if you weren't giving anything and they just dump this data for you and say, make some sense out of it, give us some useful information, what should come to your mind is that you are delivering a job for sales executives. You want to look at the total sales, maybe by date, by city, by product, by category. The unit price may not really matter. And then you may want to look at the quantity sold per maybe month, per whatever. So you should have a draft, first of all, for yourself. Don't just jump into going ahead to see to build dashboard or say, I'm very excited, let's get to work. Put pen to paper first of all and look at, imagine the product yourself. Think from the user perspective, from the employer perspective. What data would they be interested in seeing? Like I said, some employer will give you specifically what they want to see. They make your job easier. But if they want you to be creative, it's an advantage for you to be really, really creative. So you look at the years. Let's look at the total sales by year or by quarter, or then you break it down to total sales by cities, by category. Then you compare cities to cities or product to product, etc. So to the price, sum of sales. So let's go back. Let's assume we have done all of that. We now say, okay, I want to show the total sales by year. So we have, these are the different kind of charts you can use. I hope you are all seeing this side in the visualizations pane. Can you see all this?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you can choose any of these. For example, let me choose this cluster bar. And I'm just going to say, I want to see total sales by year. So when you put this here, make sure that you don't click outside the box. I click outside that box now. Nothing is going to happen. If I select anything, for example, select city, you see, it went ahead and created a new box by itself. So the best thing, or the right thing to do, is make sure that you remain in this box. It remain clicked before you select anything here. And what I said, I want to look at total sales by year. So if you click the year, nothing is going to happen, but don't worry and go ahead to see okay, let's say quantity by year. So in 2020, the total quantity of the total order in 2020 in terms of quantity was 8,325 for all products. That's what it means. And in 2021, it is 7,117 for all the products. However, you might want to say, this doesn't make sense. I want to see for specific products, right? There is what we call filter. So you all go here, slicer. Can you see this?
Yeah, we are seeing it.
So click on it. Oh, sorry. So that's exactly what I was trying to explain. So I clicked on I was supposed to click outside the box for the first visual I created, but because I didn't click outside the box, every time you click inside the box and click new visual tool, whatever you did previously will be replaced by the new thing you click. So there is an undo button here, top left. Click the undo and you have it back. Now, I assume I'm done with this. What I'm going to do is to click outside the box, right? So now go to the slicer, click on the slicer. So you see that there is no interruption, right? Now you go to the slicer and you want to filter this information by product, right? To say, oh, this doesn't make sense. Okay, I saw that in 2020, the sum of all the quantity of our order in 2020, we had 8,325 order. In 2021, we had 7,117. That's a big drop for any serious business executive. They will be worried. So let's see where the drop came from. So let's look at product. So you put the product in the filter. Now, these are the different products. Quite a lot. So if you want to know how much of banana was ordered in 2021, in 2020 and 2021, you click on banana, and you see that in 2020, 30 pieces of banana were ordered. In 2021, 49. Then brand 713. So with this, we can see the most ordered. We can see the most ordered products. With this, you can easily suggest that this is going to be one of the most ordered, 713, and in 2021, 826. We want to check carrot. So out of the 8,000 order, carrot had 2,460. 56 order in 2021, and in 2022, 1,700. So this is how to filter by product. And instead of seeing all of these, you can actually say, okay, I want to be able to see this filter differently. So what you do is drop down. You can use a drop down so that you are not. So you can use a drop down so that you can scroll easily, and pick whichever you want to see. For example, if you are making a presentation, this help you. If your manager say, okay, let me see what order of whole wheat we had, you just quickly scroll and click. This is one of the filter you can do. You may also want to filter by, say, city, order by city. So you have to again unclick this so that you are nothing is highlighted. Then go ahead, your filter again, and city. Let's put it in drop down again. So you want to say, I want to see the order by city in Boston. 2021, 3,000 order, 2020, 3,000 order, 2021, 2,600 order. Los Angeles, 1,019, and New York City, 2,416, San Diego, 930. So apparently you can easily know that New York City is where you have your biggest order for both year. In 2021, having 2,416, 2020, sorry, and in 2021, 1,590. Los Angeles, 1910, 1859. So this is another way to filter this data. I hope everything is coming together gradually.
Yes, sir.
So now, if you notice, there is something that is not indicated here. We don't have the sum of sales in dollars, like how much was the accumulated sales in dollars and etc. And for us to be able to do this, we have to create what we call a measure. So this is why Power BI is interesting. So I'm not going to get to measure today, but I just want to show you that your manager wants to know, okay, how much sales did we make? You can see this Excel sheet. So what we simply do is multiply the quantity sold by the total price. If you do by unit price, quantity sold, oh, this should be total sales, not total price then. This is total sales. So we already have the total sales here anyway. This should be in unit dollars. So because I can see that this is direct multiplication of this by this, giving us all the total sales. So I was confused with the heading. So this is the total sales we have here. Let me put it in table. So we put that back in dollars. So you can also use table to have an overview of, say, order date. Just take year. If you select the date, so it's going to take the year, the quarter, month, and etc., which is not necessary. So you can uncheck everything and just stick with the year. And if you want to see sales in quarterly sales, also you can leave the quarter, first quarter, second quarter, etc. And then you want to see the quantity of okay, let's add product, and then let's add quantity. So here you can have an overview of the whole thing. Some people are just interested in really seeing numbers. Here you can also have by region. So you can have total price. So total sales was $33,000 for both 2021 and 2020 and 2021, and this is it for first quarter. You are able to see the product. For example, this is a brand. First quarter, the sales was $271 extra. So I can remove the product, and we just have quantity of sales and total sales. So there are really a lot of things that can be seen here. We can add more measure to see, okay, I just want to see total sales for certain products. Maybe for bran and carrot, we can do that in measures, calculated measures. So the next class will be about measures, but I want us to stop this class here. This is, I think we have passed an hour already, but it is important that we understand how to build your first visual, your first dashboard. The whole thing here is called a dashboard. We can arrange it properly, give it color, design it. I don't want us to do all of that now. Just to have the first basic knowledge. You can be doing the design thing at a much later time. But for example, we can just, let's try to make it look a little bit clean. So, text balls. We can use lots of means. This is, I'm using text balls, so I just want to create an header for the data. And I want to use a text box. So I know a lot of people have design knowledge here, and this should not be a problem. So this is just simple design. So whatever design skills you have in the past should come handy. So I can say, for example, Tesco Foods. Tolu, you raised your hand, right?
Yes, thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much. So and I want to ask a question because I'm just kind of curious and just to have a little bit of insight in regards to how to present whatever you find as a data analyst to your colleagues or boss at work. Now,
Yeah.
the question is,
go ahead. Hello. I think something went wrong.
do you present using the Power BI workspace? Have them in like a much better approach?
Well, Power BI workspace might be a better approach because you are able to click right away. Under here, you have to click Control Plus before you are able to navigate easily. And also there is the option of embedding Power BI into PowerPoint now. So you can embed Power BI. I think it's one of these features. So you can actually embed Power BI into PowerPoint, and it make life easy.
Okay.
So you can design whatever you want to design. Tesco food, blah blah blah. You can also import logo. You know, put the logo here and put lot and as many as possible filter you want to put here. Put them here. So we are now in question time. So this is the only, this is all I'm going to show today. You importing the data and being able to build your first dashboard and drive narratives or show trends of events, be creative about it. So this will be our first assignment. You go home, we allow you to be creative, create as many as possible trend or insight from this data. it's not necessary you make it just on one single page. You can add page 2. So I would like for you to have a maximum of 4 visuals. 1, 2, maybe 3, 4 visuals on this page. So you may want to say, I want to see total, quantity. I want to see products, quite a lot of them, and I want to see. Let's say we want to see total price by product. So something like this. Of all the sales, you can see which of them at a glance. You can see oatmeal seems to have the biggest sales in the year, having sold 21% of all the sales. No, I'm wrong. This is carrots, 22% of all sales. Then followed by oats, etc., etc. So it goes around like this. Let's say this is number 4. Number 3. So don't let me do much. I'm just going to do 3. I will expect you to do 4, showing me different insights. You can have more than 2 filters. You can have more than 2 filters to show different interesting things. And boom, this is your first dashboard to present to your employer or the stakeholder, which they will use in making their decisions. So we can also have this designed. Like I said, you can import logo of your, let me just try to do that, insert image. I'm not sure if I'm going to see, let me see, logo. I think I must have logo downloaded somewhere before. I don't know. I'm trying to see if I have a logo downloaded anywhere. Anyway. Okay, let me see this. I don't know what is there, but okay. So let's assume this is the logo of the organization. So you can simply place it here. You say this is Tesco Foods sales report. Sales report. Tesco Food sales report. You see, this keeps disappearing. So I can just group everything together. So I can see my format button. How do I minimize this? Great. So format and group them together so it doesn't move up and down. You see, so it's like kind of static there. So I think I'm going to stop here. Ask your questions, please ask your questions. I'm just going to be doing normal play around with this. So for example, here you can adjust the X and Y axis to turn off, maybe turn off the title. Yeah, we already know. For example, it's saying sum of quantity. We already know it's a quantity. You can label it. You have it sum of quantity by year already. So why repeat it by the side? You can also turn off the quantity and turn on the data labels here. So the data label is showing here instead of showing by the side. Looks cleaner. You can go ahead and also turn off the year. We already know it is year 2021, 2020. We know it is year, so no need showing it there. And overall, we can decide to say, okay, let's turn off this header. Okay, sum of quantity of year. Let's centralize it. Maybe reduce it and then give it a background color. Let's say this. And the text maybe white. No, that doesn't look good. Okay, background color. and text white, some of the year. So these are some of the play around we can do, and before we know it, we have a very nice visual. This is a very odd color to use, by the way. Make sure that your report does not contain more than 2 colors. So I'm just going to stick with blue. Yeah. So make sure you don't have so much color. You have rainbow sort of thing. You can also edit the color you have here. You know, you can edit all the colors here from this page. The slices, these are the color. So this is becoming too much already, but I hope we achieve our set target, which is to be able to import data and build your first dashboard. So questions, please.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate the class, but subsequently, some of us are old people. We want you to give us the time to practice it as you are doing it, so that we can retain it in our brain. Because I think the pace is a bit fast for us. If we try to just practice as you are speaking, we lose touch with what you are doing. Please, so maybe subsequent classes, you can just give us like 2 minutes. Okay, let's do this one and see if we can figure it out. If you can't, you can ask questions that I'm struggling with this.
It's your internet.
Thank you very much. That was exactly the plan. That was how I wanted us to run this class, but it wasn't sounding interactive. And I tried to take a pause to say, have you done this? I think I tried that in the beginning. I wasn't getting good response. So I wasn't sure if people were following.
Sorry, this is what I think. Today is the first class, and I know a lot of people are just having a first-hand experience with Power BI. Classes are going to hold every Saturday, so you have between now and next week Saturday to try it out, ask questions, and let's see how it goes. One of the requirements for this class is that people have working knowledge of Microsoft Excel. But at least today we've been able to cover some basics, not something too complicated. But yes, try it out. If you have any question, feel free to ask on the WhatsApp group. I have 3 people raising their hand. So Toye, please, let's have you.
Thank you for your time and for the efforts. So I would like to ask in 2 phases, because when I got to this Western side, I noticed that the way they get their data, it's in a way that we have a kind of accuracy. Like when you buy in a Tesco, they already have a scanner that scans something and tell you the actual price, that you are paying £1 for item A, you are paying £2 for item C. Compared to a place in Nigeria where all these things are being done with a normal bookkeeping, where you need somebody to enter this thing manually in an Excel sheet. So my question is this: if I'm being given a data from a place where it is done manually, and somebody told me item A, which is like a pamper, is being sold for minus £10 instead of writing £10, is there a place where in Power BI where we can be able to know that this value, it's not a value that should be in that item A? Now we have a place where it is done manually and a place where it is done in a computerized way. That's my questions.
Thank you for the question. When you load data into Power BI, just like I said, the first thing is to do the data validation. For example, at work, I've had to go back to the people in charge of a task. See, I'm seeing an outlier here. So we kind of call them outliers. Like you have a data where every number has been 3.4, 3.5, and suddenly you see 30,000. So you know something is wrong. So it's exactly the same whether the data was collected manually or directly into the database like you have in Tesco here. When you see those outliers, you get across to probably the data manager or whoever is in charge of data or sales data. So they will be able to tell you, oh, that's an error. Pampers goes for 10 naira or whatever amount. And you might also be able to look at other, just check other Pampers saves. You will see, oh, it's 10. So definitely this cannot be minus 10. But always ask. That's the best way to go about it. Power BI will not auto fix something like that. In fact, it should not auto fix it, because if it auto fix that, you will have errors. So you always have to go back to the data source, I'm afraid. I don't know if that is clear enough.
Yes, it does. It does. No, I'm not really even talking about it fixing. It's just for identifying that single, but you've been able to answer.
Yeah, for identifying needs, usually, like I said, you try filter the data, and I think I showed a place here, although that might be sort of voluminous, but the funny thing about this thing is that you will always be able to see the outliers. One way or the other, it's going to show. So you can click on this drop down and have a quick view. So one way or the other, you are going to see the minus, no matter the volumes. Sometimes if it is really, really too heavy, you might skip it, but these are the shortcuts. Just come to the data view here, look at it to be sure that the numbers are somehow corresponding, making sense. You see the numbers here, 1.35 being the lowest and the highest 8.49. If it's something like 500, you should be worried. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other question?
We have 3.
No, I just spoke now. I've lowered my.
Adelami Adebayo.
Yeah, well, I think I'm the next in line for the question. I just have a suggestion, or let me say an observation regarding how this session and teaching will go well. I think the tutor should please prepare some slides, maybe PowerPoint slides, for whatever we are going to touch down on every other teaching, on every time we are having the class, so that that PowerPoint can be shared with through our WhatsApp group, and whatever we learned that day, we can go back to the PowerPoint slide to go and practice it on our own. Regarding to what Toyosi said, if we are to be given time to do it immediately or along the teaching line, it may make us to be diverted from the real teaching and even take time for the lesson to complete. But if there is a guided PowerPoint slide that we can follow, then I think after the session, then we can go back to it and practice as well. And also, me as a person, I've downloaded Power BI and some other data analysis tools, but I've not used them before. So I think we should just be a little bit more detailed about the function of every pane in those in that tool, like visualization pane, data pane. All the we should just be more detailed about when we can use them, their functions, and how it applies. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a very good observation. Actually, I prepared a slide. If you join early, I started using this slide, to say this is import your data. It shows on visualization pane. Check your query in the data or query pane. Check your relationship in the. So I expect this should suffice for that. What I also expect is that every participant will now go ahead to learn more by themselves, having provided this foundation. Did you met this session? Were you in when I started with this slide?
Yeah, I think I saw it. I met it.
So this is what I've done, especially for importing the data, because the scope of today's class is actually to be able to import the data. So trying to say follow this, and I think what I did not add was creating your first dashboard, which I think it's better done practically as I've done, to let you know, just pick any visual you want to use here, bring it here, and then start adding the column values. And yeah, so you can change the visuals anyhow you want. So any other question?
If there's no other question, I want to appreciate your efforts on behalf of everyone in the group.